Hello, I'm Mario Anderson, and welcome to In Focus Kentucky, where we take a look at issues that matter to you right here in the Bluegrass State. On today's episode, we recently spent a full day traveling with Governor Matt Bevin to find out what a day in the life of Kentucky's top elected official entails, which included multiple stops in the city of Maysville and a visit to Flemingsburg. Well, Governor, we spoke almost a year ago on In Focus Kentucky, the very first guest on the program, and you're back, so we appreciate you rejoining us here on In Focus Kentucky.
Happy to be here with you.
And obviously for this particular episode, we're not in the studio, but we're in Flemingsburg for this particular taping at the Kentucky Welding Institute. We'll talk about that more over the course of the day, or the interview, but when we talked with you a year ago, you talked about workforce development, and I believe in your words you mentioned that that is the backbone of everything. So, you know, almost a full year, the past legislative session has wrapped up, new one's getting ready to start. How is Kentucky, in your opinion, in regards to workforce development so far?
Getting stronger every day. I mean, it's remarkable. There are more and more states wondering what's going on down there in Kentucky. States that used to eat our lunch as it related to workforce development and attraction of jobs and investment of capital that are now losing out to us. And these are states to the north and south of us in particular, but frankly, all around us. And so we are investing like never before, not only from within the state, but finding people outside investing in Kentucky like never before. So workforce development, we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars. We will continue to. In this place that we're in right here is a good example of the kind of things being done in Kentucky that just aren't happening in other places.
And share with us, I know the stop at the Kentucky Welding Institute was the very last stop of the day, but your day started pretty early when we were with you as you were in Mason County and you had a cabinet meeting, one of the, I believe, 20 or so that you've had over this time. Why is it something that you've wanted to do, is have traveling cabinet meetings across the state?
Two reasons. I want the public to meet our cabinet officials. It's amazing how many people say, I've never met somebody who actually ran the transportation cabinet or the education cabinet or whatever the case might be. But it's also, I want our cabinet officials to see the people. I want them to meet people where they are, to experience things like the Kentucky Welding Institute or the International Paper Plant, or to be inside the middle school and to be part of a panel that's listening to middle schoolers compete in public speaking or doing town hall forums and hearing the questions that people in different parts of the state have. So there's no substitute for having your finger right on the pulse, and this is why we hit the road.
And what are those cabinet secretaries telling you about their feedback on their experiences of being able to get out of Frankfort or out of their daily routine to go and check out these different locations?
They enjoy it. They really do. I mean, it's invigorating for them as it is to the people that we get to meet with. And as exciting as Frankfort is on a daily basis, sometimes it's good to get out and see the people in the state.
Another thing that you've been doing pretty regularly during your term as governor is hosting town halls and talking with Kentuckians about a wide range of issues, and more times than not, more of a kind of a public forum where there's no script, it's just talking. Why was that needed, and why are you wanting to do that and offer that?
Again, I think the best governance comes when you understand who it is that you're governing and what the needs are. It helps to form the vision. My vision for this state is a simple one. I want us to be the absolute center for engineering and manufacturing excellence in the United States. And the way you make that happen is to make sure that you understand what would be your impediments. What are the advantages you have? What are the disadvantages? What are the obstacles? And so the best way to do that is to understand from the people what they're wrestling with in their local communities. And so getting out and hearing from them, as you saw today, it's really just open it up. Anybody can ask any question they want about anything, and for an hour or 2 hours or however long I have in that particular instance, I'll just sit there and take questions and talk with people.
And do you feel that has been working? People are coming out. I mean, we saw the room in Mason County, standing room only, but are people genuinely interested in wanting to be involved with this process?
They are. And what I love about it is we don't always get to schedule them at the most opportune times, because sometimes we'll do a couple in the course of a day if we're out on the road. So maybe it's an odd hour. It might be at 10 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, and people may have to leave work or skip work, or they might be retired and have a little more flexibility. But the bottom line is the people who show up care. They have a vested interest in what's going on. They have a strong opinion and something they want to share. They have a question that they want answered. They want to get engagement with state government. So yeah, I find them to be very valuable because the people who take time to come are the people that I want to hear from.
We also made a visit, as you touched on earlier, to Mason County Middle School, teenagers who were speaking to their state and local leaders about very personal type issues. So kind of what does that make, how does that make you feel to know that these students are empowered and ready to just to share their thoughts?
These kids are part of a public speaking competition that involves not just the speaking, but the eye contact, the handshake, the whole interaction. The kind of things that would allow a person to interview for a job and do well. And these kids are in middle school. And they've had a winnowing process where every kid participates, but then they're down to the top 10. I got to be on a panel that helped to judge this, and they're going to winnow that down to, I think, 6, and then down to 3, and then 2. I don't know how it's going to go. But the bottom line is this. These kids were asked for this round to identify a problem in the community, and then in 3 minutes talk about what their solutions are for that problem.
Stay with us on In Focus Kentucky. When we return, we'll bring you more of my conversation with Governor Matt Bevin.
The biggest mistake that a lot of states make, and that we have historically made, is that you wait until a kid graduates from high school before you start talking to them about what their career possibilities might be.
But first, your local Weather on the Ones forecast is coming up right after this break.